Hey everybody, it's Dr. William Clark here for Leadership Conversations. This is the show where we talk about leadership according to the world that matters to you. Got a really good friend in here, Vinton Forbes. We used to be neighbors. I mean, we're kind of still neighbors.
Yep. Just the next building over.
Next building over. So Vincent and I, we go back together. We pray together with other pastors, and we were office neighbors for a while. Now you moved to a bigger spot.
The Lord just blessed me. Increase my territory.
In that rent bill. But yeah, man, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So, as you know, we talk about leadership quite a bit on this show, and leadership within the world of nonprofits and churches. I've watched your work from afar, and I thought, it'd be interesting to kind of have a conversation with you here to kind of talk about what's going on with you and what's going on with Faith Care. So I do want to talk about kind of leadership skills necessary for small and bit-sized nonprofits. But before we get into that, tell us about you. Tell us about Faith Care. Tell the folks what they need to know.
Sure. Again, my name is Benton Forbes. I serve as the Executive Director for Faith Care, which is a nonprofit faith-based organization that provides preventive healthcare services both locally and internationally. Mm-hmm. Our mission is to bring health, hope, and healing to and through the healthcare community by providing God's transforming love locally and internationally. In addition to that, I also serve as the president for the Pillar Community Development Corporation. I'm a dad, a husband, and just, an entrepreneur. I have a small business, a consulting firm, and also try to do some give back through real estate. I own a property that I rent out to single families or individuals that's trying to make their way through the housing system. May not have a lot of resources, so God gave me the vision to hold on to the property for a while to help others transition. It's like a starter home, and help them to save and to put themselves in a better position for themselves and their family. So I try to do a little bit and also give back to the community through mentoring and serving on various boards.
Yeah. So when you talk about Faith Care serving locally, I guess domestically and internationally, what does that look like on a domestic front and then on an international front?
Sure. Domestically, we have chapters in Connecticut, one in Hartford, New Haven. We have a chapter in Pennsylvania, a chapter in Florida. And those chapters serve as the catalyst to bring people together to develop their faith, to be a networking outlet for them, to encourage them regarding their career path. We try to bring an expert to talk about different issues going on both in the healthcare field, but also in community. Mm-hmm. What we're seeing, how can we integrate our faith into the delivery of care, healthcare, and so we do that. So that's the first tenet for the domestic piece, that we want to empower, we want to encourage each other along the journey. It's not just those in the healthcare field, but spiritual counselors, ministers, leaders in the community. How can we come together to address the whole man? And then we go to our community. Once we have helped develop ourselves and help each other, we also want to help our community. So we partner with churches, civic organization, to hold wellness events in our community. So we do blood pressure testing, sugar glucose, cholesterol testing. And then once we get those results, we ask if they need assistance in finding a doctor, maintaining their health, setting goals, health goals. And so we come alongside them for 3 to 6 months to encourage them and support them along this health journey. From there, we go internationally as a chapter. And so we want to give back to those internationally across our brothers and sisters across the sea. And so that's how the international piece come in. And locally, we see on average on an annual year basis between 400 to 600 people. Then internationally, the mission trips internationally, we take on the form of a mobile MASH unit. For everyone, I'm dating myself, but I used to watch MASH with Hot Lips Hooligan and Hakai and those guys. They basically was a military hospital, mobile hospital that just set up wherever the need was and just provide surgical care. And so that's what we do. We set up sometime remotely, in a abandoned area or open field. Sometimes we are blessed to be in a clinic or hospital setting. And so we provide from acute care, surgical care, prenatal care, general checkup, dental, vision, mental counseling. And so whatever the need is, based on the personnel that we have on that trip and also the volunteers from the in-country, we just provide whatever service that is available or needed in that community.
So why healthcare as the focus of Faith Care's core work, core mission? Why healthcare?
Yeah, our founders, both Peter Snatch and John Wangu and David Hall were physicians, and they struggled with, particularly Peter, he was a resident here in Hartford, about how do you go about talking to your patient about God? Is it okay to pray with them? What's the protocol? And so he was struggling with that as a young believer and a physician. And so he went to his advisors and teachers, which was John and David, and they basically started like a Bible study kind of group. And from there, it grew that others were curious about how to live out their faith in the healthcare field. And so that's why our focus is on healthcare.
Mm. So for people who are looking to share their faith in their profession, what have you observed in terms of strategies that work to bridge the world between faith and one's profession that may not result in the creation of a faith care, but what have you seen works when those two worlds collide?
Just to recognize, to be aware of your surrounding and just to listen to what's happening around you. Patients or clients may say something that will trigger a thought that, oh, there's a scripture that goes with that. Or I may have experienced something like that I could encourage that individual at that particular time. And sometimes you may not, know what to say at that particular moment, but just listen and just let them know that I hear what you're going through. I understand. I may not have the answer right now, but do you mind if I pray with you? And we do that literally all the time at a community wellness event, just listening or inviting people to share with us what they're going through and just soliciting a prayer request. And so that's one of the key things for us is just hearing the heart of the people that we serve and just let them know that God loved them and we love them too.
Mm. So how did you guys get introduced to the international I don't want to call it the marketplace, but international scene when it comes to faith care? How did that get started?
Again, one of the founders, Dr. John Wangu, he's from Nigeria. And so he had that passion and the desire to give back. So he was traveling back and forth to Nigeria. And once Faith Care started, they took a trip. He brought Peter and others with him home, to his home, and said, there's such a need in Nigeria. What could we do to help? And so that was the beginning of the international mission trips.
And then from there, just started setting up mobile stations to meet the healthcare needs of people.
Yep, and developing partnerships over there. So with the churches and clinics and recruiting volunteers. So we have a chapter. I talked about the chapters that were here within the state. We have a chapter in Nigeria. So there's a core group of volunteers that they have their own board, they have their own leadership, they do their own fundraising. They actually at the place now, one of my biggest joy is really pouring into them and to encouraging them to say that they could model the faith care structure that we have here in the state as far as having the chapter, doing your community outreach, and also international missions. So many of those individuals in Nigeria have actually gone on a mission trip with us to Haiti and to other places just to fulfill that three-pronged mission of faith care.
Got you. And then so how were you guys received internationally when you first started going overseas? And then what's the reception like now when you go visit various countries?
Yeah. Everyone is suspicious of you. What's your intent? What's in it for you? What you're going to, you must be doing this for another reason. So there was one story that was shared with me because I've been the executive director now going into my 6th year. But many years ago, about 10 years ago, we were in Nigeria. and there were the area that we're in was very split in the northern part of Nigeria near Kaduna. And you have a lot of Christians, but also a high percentage of Muslims. And there was a chief that was watching us. Our trip to Nigeria usually is 2 weeks that we go. And so for the first few days, probably like 4 or 5 days, the chief would watch, what was going on. Some of his people may have wandered over, and he asked them questions. What did they do? What did they say? Just to see if we're truly Christians, or, does our words line up with our actions? And so finally he came over and he asked one of the doctors, why do you do what you do? And the doctor responded that, I do it because I love God and I love you, and I'm a Christian. And he's like, well, you're not like other Christians that I've seen, because on Sunday they preach the gospel, and Monday through Friday or Saturday they're carrying around a rifle and they're shooting us, and they're burning down our temples and our place of worship. So you're not like other Christians. And he's like, I don't know about those other Christians, but for me, you are my brother and I love you. And so we have the opportunity to break down walls. We have the opportunity to break down stereotypes and stigmas about Christians and Muslims and other religion and how we interact with each other. And so, some of them are nervous. They are standoffish. They want to make sure that, these people are for real. But when you really love unconditionally and you show them that there's nothing in it for us, we don't charge for any of the medical care. And so that's another thing that he said. It was like, all the other doctors, I got to pay a fee, and it costs something. But yet you're giving, better care, medical care. You're treating us with love and respect, and there's no cost. Said Jesus paid the price on Calvary's cross. I'm just going to do what he asked me to do, to love you without charging you for that love.
Yeah. I understand that. So with that said, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you to learn more about Faith Care and support Faith Care?
Sure. Our website is faithcare.net, www.faithcare.net. Our telephone number is 860-904-2870. That's 860-904-2870.
Okay. And then people, if they want to participate in a missions trip overseas, they can just contact you.
Yep. They can contact me or go to our website. We have our application and give them an overview of what to expect. And so everything is on the website.
Okay. And so before we cut this segment, when's your next mission trip?
Sure. July 24th.
Okay.
Through August the 6th. And we'll be going back to Nigeria.
So you guys are going to Nigeria. Awesome. So those of you, hopefully this will be published in time, right? That they can get in contact with you if they have all the paperwork, all of their ducks in order, they can possibly make this mission trip.
Yeah. So if they respond by like mid-May, for Nigeria, for those who haven't been to Nigeria, you'll need a visa. And so there's a process for that. So we have to give about 4 to 6 weeks to make that happen. So by mid-June, mid-May to early June, we can still make that happen for them.
Okay. And is there a trip after?
Yeah. We go back to Nigeria in October, and then February we go to, the one right after July is September. We go to Jamaica for a week, and then back to October to Nigeria, in February to Haiti.
All right, so there you have it, guys. If you don't make it to the Nigeria trip in July, there's a trip in September and October, and then a trip in February 2020. So that's coming up. Vincent, thanks for coming in, bro.
No problem, man.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.